Okay, so this is the one that we used on last class. You can see that whenever we have to use Microsoft Excel for calculation นะครับ we always start our calculation นะครับ in the cell with equal sign นะครับ with the equal sign like this. When we have to calculate for the sales amount นะครับ in 2021 by the assumption that we have the sales amount 15% increasing from the last year. So in this one, we just like refer to the sales amount in 2020 and then multiply by 1.15 or the increasement by 15%. So in this one, you can see that we learn for the concept of the references as well. In this one, we start with the relative reference. The relative reference means that whenever you would like to refer to any other sales, you just like use that cell location as a part of the calculation. For example, in here, if you know that our cell D5 is based on the multiplication from cell C5 by 1.15. The way that we do is that we type equal sign, and after that we just like refer to the cell by just like typing the cell location like C5 like this, and then you can see that for the cell C5 here, it's shown in the blue color, and also the frame นะครับ will be surrounded the cell C5 in blue color as well, and then you just multiply by the value that you want to have, something like that. When you calculate like this already and you would like to have the copy of the cell to other locations, bear in mind that if you use the relative reference, when you have the copying of the cell, if the cell goes down lower for one more row นะครับ the location of the cell in the next cell will be just like added by one row as well. But if you say that, okay, you just like want to calculate it, and then you want to copy the cell to the right hand side, that means in another column, the column will be increasing as well like this. If you copy this one to from column D to column E, you can see that from cell C5, once you copy into the column on the right hand side, it will be D5 because the column will be increasing by one more column. But in this one, if we calculate like this, you have to know that when we use relative reference, sometimes it doesn't work. It doesn't work well. For example, if we say that, okay, we know that the exchange rate in here is 33.25 baht per $1, and you say that, okay, you don't want to you don't want to just like calculate them by using the value or the sales amount by 33.25, because otherwise you have to change or you have to type it or change for every single cell if the currency exchange rate is updated. For example, you say that, okay, you want to calculate sales amount in Thai baht, and you multiply sales amount in US dollars by 33.25 like this. Okay, you can see that if the exchange rate is updated, we spend a lot of time in order to update for every single cell. So in order to make it easier, we just like multiply it by we have to just like use the concept of the absolute reference. It is easier. So absolute reference is similar to relative reference, because whenever you have to calculate anything, we just like type the formula. In this one, we just multiply the sales amount by the currency exchange rate that we set it up in another cell. In this example, it is in I1. So in this one, you can see that if we just copy this formula to other cells, it will cause a problem in that from I1, if you just like copy this formula down for one more row, it will be I2 instead of I1. that is not what we want because our currency exchange rate is located in the cell I1 only. So the way in order to make this formula to be correct is that instead of multiplying with the cell I1 straight away, you have to make the cell I1 to be the absolute reference first by applying dollar signs นะครับ in front of the cell I1 นะครับ like this. You type dollar sign I dollar sign 1. This one means that you lock cell I1 นะครับ or in Windows you may use a shortcut as well, but I mean like if you are not fluent in using shortcut, you may just type dollar sign straight away. The shortcut is function key F4 like this. Once you type or once you press F4, it will toggle among like different kind of locking นะครับ so that means the first time you press F4 it will lock the cell I1. If you press it another time, it will be I dollar sign 1. That means you don't lock the column I, but you lock the row number 1. Once you press again, it will be dollar sign 1. Dollar sign I1. That means you lock the column. You lock the column I, but you don't lock the row 1. นะครับ you do the things like this นะครับ until you get the one that you want in this one. So right now the cell I1 is locked already. If you just like copy the formula down, okay, you can see that even in the December month, the calculation will be the sales amount in December multiplied by the cell I1 anyway. This is the absolute reference. So we apply the concept of the absolute reference in other things that you did on last class as well. That means when you would like to calculate the commission amount in here, you may just like lock the cell H2 in this case, that is the commission rate นะครับ and then we can calculate this kind of thing. So when we have this calculation already, on last class we also talk about the functions in Microsoft Excel นะครับ for the function in Microsoft Excel we learned for 4 functions on last class นะครับ that were sum function, max, mean and average. The basic thing that you have to know about the function in Microsoft Excel is that whenever we need to have any functions, we do the similar way as we did in the basic calculation. That means you have to start the cell with the equal sign first, and after that we just like put the we just put the function นะครับ it is like this. Okay, this one we do นะครับ you can see that when we start any function, this won't be long. I'm using another device. Hang on. Okay. Okay. The function that we have to start, we have to just start with the equal sign นะครับ followed by function name, followed by argument lists, like this. So for example, if we have some function, we have equal sign sum and followed by the argument list in here. The argument list of each function, it depends on the function นะครับ that how many arguments that we need to have, or how many values in the parentheses that we need to have. For example, if you just like have a look on the sum function, it is like this นะครับ if you go to use the function นะครับ we can just like click on fx นะครับ on the left hand side of the formula bar to build a function that we have นะครับ and then you just like type the name of the function that we want นะครับ the name of the function that we want to have or we want to use. For example, I want sum function. I type sum and then I click go. It will list out the sum function นะครับ in this list, and then you just like click OK to enter all the arguments. The sum function in here, you can see that the syntax of the function sum will have like number 1, number 2, dot dot dot. So in this example, when you see number 1, number 2, comma number 2, that means in the function sum, it needs at least 2 arguments that are 2 numbers. The numbers in here might be like the constant value that you type in. For example, you may put equal sign sum 10, 25, something like that. That means it's equivalent to you add 10 with 25 like this. Okay, so at least the sum function need to have 2 arguments. What about like dot 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 in here? Comma dot 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 in here means the optional one. If you have more than 2 numbers or more than 2 values, you can also use the sum function to support this addition as well. So that means if you have to sum 3 numbers together, it will be like this. Like this. Then that means you have 3 numbers. Sum function can support. Apart from that one, numbers in here can be just like the constant value like this, or it can be the reference that we learned before as well. That means if you want to add if you want to add the value like A1, A3, B5 like this. This is the addition of 3 cells together. But sometimes when you would like to add or when you would like to sum some values together, you may want to sum many values, not just like 3 different cells. But you would like to add or you would like to sum like the sales of 12 months like this. And you know that the values are located in the cell C5 to C16. Instead of entering the value like this, instead of entering the value like equals to sum C5, C6, C7, C8, and so on until you reach C16. This one is difficult for us. We rarely do it if you have range of cells that are located stick together like this. But the way we do, we may use like equals to sum, and we specify the range instead of separate cells. Then you have C5 colon C16 like this. This is to specify the range of cell instead. So whenever we have to use the range of cell, it depends on the function, whether that function support the argument to be in the range or not. For some function, if it doesn't support entering the range of cell like this, you still have to enter 1 individual cell at a time like this one instead. That was the first function that we learned. After that, we learned for max, min, and average. We did the same thing. We did the same thing as we did with the sum function. So that means for the max function, you have to just like see the function max first, and see what kind of arguments that max function need to have. You can see that if you have a look on the max function here, the way that max function need to have or need to get is the same as the is the same as the sum function that we learned before. The argument that max function need to have, we need to use, I'm sorry. Okay. The max function also need to use the list of argument like this, number 1, comma number 2 as well. the same as sum function. And also number one, number two, like this, you can also specify the range as well. So whenever you would like to use the function that we have, there are a couple of ways in order to input those functions into the cell. The first one is that you may type directly. For example, if you want to sum the value from C5 to C16, you just type equals to sum, and then Excel will just like pop up. Excel will pop up the value for you in here. You can see that for the function sum in here, it just show the list of the functions for you. It just show the list of the function for you. So after that, you just type the argument that you want to use. You just like add the argument that you want to use, just one below. Okay. Okay. Just type equals to sum, and then just like type the argument lists that I want to have. You can see that Excel tries to help you all the time. When you start typing equals SU, it just like show you the all possible list of functions that Excel have, and you can see that sum is here. You may double click so that it just like copy that function into the cell for you. And then it just like show the list of arguments that you need to have in this function as well. So in here, if I say that I want C5 to C16, I just do like this and then close the parentheses. This is the first way that we do. We just type the function by ourselves and enter all of the argument by ourselves. But sometimes if you say that I can't remember the syntax of the function, what should I do? The Microsoft Excel helps you as well to have the function builder. We just click on FX, and then just like enter, choose the function that you want to have, or type the name of the function in here, and then click go. It just like display all the possible functions that are related to sum. Then you just like choose sum and then click OK. Then Excel will provide you with the list of the arguments as a window for you. Then you just like specify the values for each argument that the function needs to have. And also, when you have the function or when you use the function builder, once you go to any argument, when you go to any argument, Excel will try to explain to you as well that, okay, what is that argument is used for? What is the argument used for? For example, in here, it shows you for number one. In here, it said that, okay, number one, number two, here are numbers to sum. It explains the meaning of that argument for you as well. Okay, so these are like two basic ways in order to just like use functions and the function builder. Okay, so after we talk about the after we talk about the functions and the function builder in terms of like the four basic functions already, the next thing that we have to learn, the next thing that we have to learn for the function in here is that we are going to talk about the chart in Microsoft Excel. I just introduced you for the basic chart in the Microsoft Excel, and for the rest of them, you may have to practice by yourself. And then one thing that you have to know is that, okay, when you choose any functions, you have to know that, okay, what are the type of the chart that we should have in order to display the value. Okay, so for the functions that I just like show to you in here, we talk about the way in order to create a function first. So firstly, the things that we usually do is that we have to choose what value that you would like to display in our chart and what kind of chart that we have to use. For example, in here, I said that I want to show the month and the sales amount. Then you have to know that for the month and the sales amount, if you want to display them as a chart, what kind of chart that is suitable to display month and sales amounts together. Somebody said that I'm going to use pie chart. Somebody may say I want to use bar chart, so that we can see the comparison easily. While some other people say that, oh, but I want to use a line chart instead. So you need to know that, okay, what type of chart that you should create. You should use to create the chart for displaying these values, because different type of chart, even we can just like use Microsoft Excel to help displaying those charts. But the problem that you have to know is that when you have different type of chart, it can visualize the value in different manners, because some kind of chart might not suitable for some specific data, because whenever you use that chart already, and when you just like present that chart on the screen, some other people may not understand or may have to spend a lot of time in order to compare those values together. So that's why you have to know what type of chart should be suitable for this situation. How should we know? The first one is that once you read many books, or you just like read many papers, you will see the chart type that they use, or even you see lots of case studies. They show you different types of charts in different situations, and you see that, oh, this one is good for us in order to display that type of chart on this case of data. So after we choose the data to be displayed in the chart already, for example, I choose month and amount sales and sales amount. I'm sorry. This one, the things that we have to do next is that we just put, insert the chart into our workbook. How can we have the chart? So the chart that we have to use is in the insert menu. Is in the insert menu. You just click on insert menu. After that, the chart is here. We have the chart groups here. Okay. So actually, Microsoft Excel provides you many type of charts that you may be able to use to display the value. Also, if you don't have any ideas what type of chart should be suitable, Excel try to help by having the recommended charts for you as well. So it depends on you whether you would like to decide your own chart type, or whether you would like Excel to help you. Actually, Excel has lots of charts, but they just like compress many charts into small icons like this. If you want to see more, you can click the list to expand all the chart type that Excel have for you as well. You just click here, the small arrow on the bottom right corner of the charts group. Here it is, the chart, all the chart types that Excel have for you. In this one, suppose I say that, okay, Excel also just like provide you different type of charts as well. In this case, in this example, suppose I say that I want to use like column charts, but I want them to be displayed in different colors. I may just like hover the mouse pointer, hover the mouse pointer over the chart. It will show the preview for you. Okay, like this. Okay. Suppose I say that in this case, or in this example, I don't want to see the trend, but I want to see the comparison among different months for the sales amount. I just choose column chart, and then I choose clustered column in colors, in different colors in here. When I choose already, I click OK. You can see that right now the chart will be created in the same worksheet that we have. I'll talk about the moving of the chart into different locations later on. So right now, you can see that when we have the chart like this, it just show the word sales amount for us. Okay. But it doesn't show the word month. The reason is because Excel knows that month is month. And then it shows in the this one we call it as legend, legend, legend. It shows us that okay, different colors bar. What does it mean? It shows that okay, it's from Jan to December. In this one, you can also justify or just like change some components of the chart if you want. For example, in here, the chart title here, we didn't enter the chart title yet. We can just like type by ourselves. You may double click and type sales comparison 2020, something like this. Okay. So in here, when you have this chart already, if you want to increase the size, you may just like drag the size from the corner to make it the size of the chart to be larger. And each bar in this example, once you click, it just show you the series of the data as well. But actually, in this fundamental class for Excel like this, we don't touch on the series of each bar. In this one, if you want to change the position of the chart, I suggest you that okay, if let's say if your chart covers the wrong area, I recommend you to delete that chart first and then just re-highlight the location of the cells that you want to have, and then just create the chart again. For example, if you just like highlight the value from month and sales amount together, but you just like do it from January to November because you forgot December once, then it means that okay, you have to just like delete the chart first and then just like recreate the chart by also cover the December month as well. In this one, you can see that when we have this chart already, if you say that okay, our chart, once you let's say if you just like print out or make this sheet as a PDF, what will happen? In this one, you just like click on somewhere else in the worksheet first. Don't click on the chart. Click on some cells in the worksheet, and if you click File, Print, you can see that okay, in this one it is a bit too big to show everything in the same page. But if you just like go to like some other pages, you can see that this one, it might be a bit too big for us in order to cover everything in one page. But have a look. You can see that right now the chart just like overlapped or block the view of the worksheet behind. What should we do? In this one, I will scale down this worksheet first so that you can see everything in one page. If you want to print the work or the worksheet and we want to cover everything in one page only, you may just like have to click on the scaling here and set fit sheet on one page. And then you may say that okay, because in this one it should be on what to say, landscape orientation. In this one, you can see that this is one page. It just like I just like want to show you that okay, you can also make this everything to be on one page too, but you can see that in this case it's too small. If you try to fit everything in one page, you may have to just like put no scales, something like this instead. Okay, when you see this already, you can see that the chart blocks the table here. Somebody just like said that okay, we move the chart to be lower than the table so that we can see both table and charts together. Once you print again, okay, in here I have to change, sorry, I have to change the direction นะครับ or the orientation of the sheet to be the portrait orientation. Okay, so you can see that in here it is a bit better นะครับ because the chart doesn't block the table anymore. Okay, like this. When you have to just like make this one to be better, what should we do? Sometimes if you want to print just the chart only นะครับ you don't want to print the data table here, you just click on the chart นะครับ to see the white circles around here, and then you click file print. You can see that right now it just like it will print just only the chart that we have นะครับ but if the chart is too big, you may have to just like squeeze the chart a bit so that it can be displayed in one page. Okay, apart from that one, what else we can do in order to handle this chart? Actually, some of the people may say that I want the chart to be on another worksheet separately. I don't want it to be mixed up with the data, because data is the data. What should we do? In here, we just like choose, we click on the chart first. Okay. And then you can see that there are lots of like menu that are related to the chart, including for the sign นะครับ that you can change to be anything that you like to have นะครับ Okay, also you can just like change the chart as well. You can change the chart as well. That means, for example, if we say that you want to change the chart style to be the other style instead, you can just like right click and choose. Sorry, you can click and choose from here นะครับ or you can just like change the chart type straight away by clicking on the chart first, and then you just like go to the sign and then choose change chart type. For example, if I said that I want to change it to be the line chart, and I want this, okay, this one can be changed straight away นะครับ Okay, so apart from that one, suppose we said that okay, I don't want this chart to be together with my data. I want to separate the chart into another sheet. What should we do? Firstly, you click the chart first, and after that you go to the Design tab นะครับ the Design menu. Then you see Move Chart. You click on Move Chart, and then you choose how you would like the chart to be. This one, you can say that okay, you want it to be in the new sheet. You can click on New Sheet and type the name of the chart. Suppose I say that it's Sales Comparison 2020. I can just like create a chart on the new sheet. You can see that right now, if you have a look on your worksheet นะครับ you can see that it is the sheet called Sales Comparison 2020 as a separated worksheet straight away นะครับ Okay, while the original data is still here นะครับ is still in the Sales Report 2021 estimate, something like that นะครับ so this is the chart that you should know. So you just like try to play with like different type of chart นะครับ so that you can just like learn how to just like use Microsoft Excel chart to display your value. Okay, let me just like change the chart type back to be the bar chart first. Okay, I prefer this one. Okay, right. When you have the chart already นะครับ the next thing that you have to know in Microsoft Excel นะครับ is another function ครับ Okay, the function that we have to know now is the function that is what we call if function นะครับ so in order to learn about the if function, everyone just like insert the new worksheet นะครับ click on the plus symbol นะครับ on the sheet tab to create a new worksheet. Name these sheets as if if and nested if. I call this sheet as if nested if. Okay, and then let's understand what does it mean by if and nested if. Actually, if and nested if, they are the same function นะครับ but the complexity of the nested if is more complicated than if function, because if you have many ifs together นะครับ we call it as nested if in the same cell นะครับ I mean. So what does it mean by if? If is a function that we use to make a decision นะครับ for example if you say that okay if you have salesman A, B, and C นะครับ and let's say if salesman A นะครับ can sell the product $1 million on this month, while salesman B just do 500,000 and salesman C just do $300,000. And we say that these three people, we give them different commission. We consider from the sales amount that they sold on last month, let's say, to calculate the commission. So this one, we say that okay, we will give 3% of the commission if the sales amount is more than from 1 million and above. We give 3%. Then A get 3% of the commission amount. For any salesman who can sell from 500,000 นะครับ and above but less than 1 million get 2%. So Mr. B get 2%. And if we say that okay, for anyone whose sales amount is from 100,000 to 300,000, we give 1.5%. So Mr. C will get 1.5%. But if you have to just like think and fill up the commission rate for each person manually, it wastes a lot of time. So that's why Excel provide us with the if function in order to make a decision. So when we have to make a decision, we always use if function because it's the easiest way in order to make a decision. So what is the if and nested if? I will start with the if function first. If function is the function to make a decision between two different ways. By judging the things in two different ways. For example, this person will receive commission or not. Is today is the holiday or not? We will go to do something on this day if we have like some if we have a criteria to judge, then we use if function. So let's see. For the tools before we use if function. Okay, let's see. I'll show you the syntax of if function first before I talk about that tools. Let's have a look for the if function. How do we gonna have if function? Let's see. I click on insert function here, and then I type if and click go. If function is here. Let's see the description of the if function. If function will check whether a condition is met and return excuse me, and return one value if true and another value if false. So the syntax is like this: if logical test, comma, value if true, comma, value if false. So in this one it is equals to if logical test, comma, value if true. I'll separate them in different lines so that it will be easy to explain. Value if true, comma value if false. Okay, so the things that I have to explain to you is that normally if function needs 3 arguments, like this. So the things that we have to do, the things that we have to do is that we have to understand first, that what does it mean by logical test, what does it mean by value if true and value if false. You can see that in here, if I use the if function, value if true, value if false, and logical test, all of them are required. All of them are required argument. That means you must have these 3 arguments in your if functions. If you skip some of the arguments, the interpretation of the if function will be wrong, or it doesn't cause the error, but it will show you with like some strange output or some strange value. So in this one, let's see logical test first. What does it mean by logical test? Logical test is the comparison, is a comparison between or among the things that we have. For example, if we say that A1 is greater than 20, this is what we call logical test. If we say that B2 equals to C5, this is the comparison between the values in these 2 cells, between the cells B2 and the cell C5. Are they equal or not? C7 is not equals to 10. The symbol less than and greater than, when you put them together here, it's testing for unequality. Unequality. After that, if we say that okay, D4 is greater than 5 or not, this is testing for the greater of the value. D6 greater than or equals to M1 or not. This is greater than or equals to F2 is less than 3, or M7 is less than or equals to 9, something like that. These are comparisons that we use. These are comparisons that we use to compare numbers or values together like this. We put them in the logical test, as the logical test in the if function. After we have this already, value if true and value if false, what do they mean? Value if true means that if they test for this logical value already and they found that it's true, what would you like Excel or the if function to do for you? So value if true, if you put 7, the cell, that cell will show value 7 in the cell as a result. If you say that okay, you show value if true, you put okay, like this in the double quotes. Okay in the double quotes here means a text. The cell will display the value okay, for you on the screen, in that cell. Value if false is as well as value if true. You can enter number, you can enter text, or you can enter some calculation as well. So if we say that okay, value if false, what are we going to do? For value if false, we say that it is D6 times 3, something like that. This is value if false. It can be value if false as well. So value if true or value if false can be numbers, can be text, can be calculation, like this. Okay. So when we talk about the if, we have the tool to help. In order to just like create the function if functions or nested if function, sometimes, especially when we have lots of calculation or lots of comparison, by just typing the if function only, it might be difficult for us นะครับ it might be difficult for us for example นะครับ I start with the if function first for the if I'll call it as basic if นะครับ it's the same thing ครับ suppose I say that we will give okay so in this case นะครับ we will consider whether that sales representative should receive the commission or not นะครับ we will give the commission to that sales representative นะครับ only when we will consider for the sales representative only when that salesman or salesperson work with us for more than 12 months นะครับ okay if we have sales rep okay we just like create a small table like this and we consider